Day 24. Oh my goodness, super excited. And excited that later this week I'm going to be heading to Auckland and New Zealand Spirit Fest, so you will get some different versions of the 29-day challenge from a completely new location. So given that yesterday's love languages, the 5 love languages, went down really well, I've had lots of awesome comments on Facebook and people just having that resonate with them, I thought I'd share with you another fantastic quiz and framework and tool that I really like using. And it's the 4 Tendencies from Gretchen Ruben. She put out this quiz probably about 3 years ago. She also wrote the best-selling book about it. And she had done a lot of research on how we tend to turn up, how we tend to act in certain situations. And she found that there were 4 main ways in which we show up. And I'm going to go through those with my understanding of it. I've read the book around me, I'll share what I am. But it's really helped me, much like the love languages, to understand sometimes why Josh and I are so freaking different, or why dear friends that I love do the things that they do, and why I am sure I'm annoying to them at times and other times works really well. And I just think the more we can understand about ourselves as a person and also how other people act, behave, what triggers them, what motivates them, as I said in yesterday's video, the better friend we can be, the more we can show up and be of service, and the more we can intimately know ourselves and why we do what we do. And so when you get frustrated with yourself, or if you're not moving forward on a project, or you're procrastinating, or something triggers you, or you get emotional about something or angry about something, these emotions are all fine, by the way, but it's really helpful to understand them and to be able to know how to deal with them so that you can turn up from a place of more loving and compassion and joy and fun and play. So on to the 4 tendencies. So there's 4 profiles, as I said, and 90% of people actually, I think it's 90%, it's a huge percentage, are obligers. So if you're sitting there listening and you know you're the kind of person who says yes to lots of people, you take on lots of work before your own, you're always doing things for others, you are likely an obliger, which means that, yeah, you put a lot of other things before yourself. And then probably at some point down the track, you're overloaded, overwhelmed, and a little resentful about all the things you've said yes to. And people see you as the go-to person because you're always willing to accept more stuff, but you're doing it at the expense of probably your health, your sanity, and your enjoyment in life. So obligers don't have great internal or external accountability, and they really need people to hold them accountable to help them do the things that they need to do. And also they need to set boundaries. So good thing is, if you sound like you're an obliger as I'm saying this, you're not alone. There's lots of other people, and there's different tendencies that are going to be able to help you show up and not overcommit yourself and start doing more things for you, because you're the most important person here. One of the other tendencies is the questioner, which is pretty self-explanatory. They question a lot of things, so they won't jump at things like the obliger. They won't say yes to things immediately. They will question a lot about whether it's something they feel like doing, whether it's something that's dear to them, whether it's even has the right purpose, all these things, which isn't a bad thing. So a questioner is quite a good person to have on your team or in your life, because if you're a kind of all or nothing, go all in, it's good to have a questioner go, hang on a minute, have you thought about that this might happen, or that this might happen, or maybe this could be the ramification of that, which is really helpful to have, right? But at some point, questioners need to stop questioning and start doing, so they can be their own worst enemy, and that they will question everything and take a long time to sort of look at things, investigate them, rather than actually getting on and doing. Then you have the rebel. I have a few friends who are rebels. They are really funny to me because I am the 4th one, which is an upholder. So let me sort of show you how they're different. So the rebel, as you can once again sort of, I guess you can guess from the word and the name and the tendency, is that they rebel against a lot of things, which again is not a bad thing. You know, these are sometimes the innovators and the entrepreneurs and the people who take a different path because they don't want to accept the status quo, or they don't love tradition, or they don't like what everybody else is doing, so they'll rebel. The funny thing about that, I think, is that they sometimes even rebel against themselves. So they'll think of a good idea, or they'll be off to do something, and then you'll find them a couple of days later not doing it because it felt like too much work, or they didn't agree with it anymore. They kind of rebel against themselves. I kid you not, and I've witnessed this a lot, and I'd love for Gretchen to comment on how you deal with this. But for example, Josh is a rebel. and I'm an upholder, so I will, if I say I'm going to go out on a training ride or a run, or I'm going to go on a hike today, then I'm going to do that, because I have massive internal accountability and external accountability. I can hold others accountable, I can hold myself accountable, and I will turn up and be true to my word, which is sometimes a pain in the ass and sometimes not. But most of the time it's a good thing, but just bear with me. So I will often say, hey, do you want to, let's go on a run together? And he'll be like, no, it doesn't sound like a good idea. I don't feel like going for a run, doing my best Grumpy Josh impression. And I'll be like, oh, but I just thought you said the other day it was really appreciative when we go out for runs together, because it motivates you, and then we can do it together and it's good and it gets you fit. And he's like, no, don't do it. However, what I learned from reading through the book and understanding that is, if I say, hey, I'm going to go for a run at 1, I'm going to head down to the park, you can come or you don't have to, it's entirely up to you kind of thing. Give them an option, invite them, but don't expect that they need to come. Don't tell them that you'd like them to, because they're just going to rebel against that. And by saying, I'm going to be going to do it anyway and I'm going to be here at this time, it gives them the opportunity to choose right to come. So a good way to enroll a rebel is to make it their decision, really, to be able to do it, which is true for most people, apart from probably obligers who don't need more invites, because they'll probably accept because they feel obliged to do so. And then you have the upholder, as I mentioned. So we have the ability to uphold and be true to our word and what we say we're going to do. So I've often wondered why, when I say I'm going to take action, I just do, and why that's hard for so many other people that I know. And now I realise, because that's my modus operandi. Like, I will say, here's what I'm going to do, and then you can be sure that I'm going to do that. It's very rare that I actually don't do what I say I'll do. But it can be a fantastic thing, like when I'm doing any major project, writing a book, setting a deadline, I will move heaven and earth to make it happen. But it's also a pain in the ass if I said I'd do that and it's no longer the right goal or something that's actually important. Because I said that I would, I still will go ahead and do it, even if it's kind of painful or something that I don't feel like doing anymore. So that's the only, I think, downside of being an upholder, in my view, is that once we've set our mind to something and we say we're going to do it, we do it regardless of whether it's still necessarily the right, most purposeful, most impactful, most useful thing to be doing. Anyway, as I said, that's my understanding of the 4 tendencies. I'd highly recommend you check out the quiz. I'll drop it below in the description for you. Pretty sure it's just at fourtendencies.com/quiz, but I could be wrong. And then the book is great. Gretchen Ruben has an awesome podcast as well. And this lady knows her stuff. She is all up there on productivity and living your best life. And you might know her as the author of The Happiness Project, which I actually never read, but I know so many people who have benefited from that a lot, which is just doing things that make you happy and treating it as a project. So yeah, really awesome lady to follow along and learn from. And definitely do the quiz, because there is some information as you've done it as to what your tendency is and how to relate to others, and also how you can spot the other 3 tendencies and how to work with those people to help you, and vice versa. I hope that's been useful. I'm Natalie Sisson. You're on my channel. Can you give us a like if you're enjoying this series? I've got 5 more days of videos to go, I do believe, until the end of this month. So if there's any topic that you would love for me to share or discuss that I actually might know about, then please pop it below in the comments, and I'll do my best to, if I don't know enough about it, research it and report back to you, share what I've learnt. That was the whole point of this 29-day series, was to turn up every single day. I'm an upholder, so I am. Woohoo! And even when I haven't felt like it sometimes, and it's gotten easy along the way, and it's really just getting me to turn up no matter what, the day, the scenery, the look, how I feel, all those things, is to show up and do it. No excuses, no procrastination, and to share tons of value with you and teach what I'm learning. Thanks so much.